Hi friends! If you click to check out the newest addition to the Viseart Edit line, their newly released Spritz Edit Palette, then please keep on watching. Hi, my name is Alicia. If it's your first time here, thank you so much for clicking on my video. And if you are returning, well, thank you for visiting me again. KINKYSWEAT stands for my kinky hair and sweat life. I am a fitness professional who loves things all movement and beauté. If you want to check out what I do in between the makeup, so you can head over to my Instagram. Timestamps will be down below for product details, the demo, doing 4 looks because we're going to use all the shadows, as well as the different comparisons. And it will be a lengthy video because I would like to get into the other edit palettes as well as the Grand Pro series palettes to do some shade comparisons because I thought they were a few. They're not exactly the same, but if you have any of the other Viseart palettes, then maybe you feel like, okay, well, I can make it work with the shades that I have and don't necessarily need to grab the Spritz Edit palette. But if you are a completionist like I am, I just needed to grab it, and a huge shout out to Sheila Keen for sending me the email about it. I ordered this from the Viseart website. I believe it is now currently available at Beautylish as well as Sephora. I'm not sure if it's yet available on Muse Beauty Pro. If it is, I'll make sure to put that link down below as well. I'm on the Viseart Paris website right now. This little guy retails for $39. This palette weighs in at 12 grams or 0.42 ounces of product. We got 12 shadows, and upon opening, a suggested shelf life of 36 months. And this palette is made in the US of A. On the Viseart Paris website now, let's toast to togetherness. Embrace the feeling of bubbling possibility, reimagining a world we can play together, sketching in the sand. Hold fast to your summertime dreams of camaraderie and melting apricot sunsets with our balmy, fizzing selection of lively, luminous shadows. I tried this palette already and it's a luminous, all right. Drawing inspiration from the legendary Spritz cocktail, we've shaken, not stirred, a collection of 12 gorgeously glowing shades. Cheers to you for collectively continuing to inspire us with your passion, hope, and sparkling pursuit of creative positivity. Santé. I hope I said that right. I believe there was an initiative upon this palette's release where healthcare workers and all essential workers had dibs on the palette, or there was a special discount for them. I'm not too sure. If you have those details, leave them down below and I'll be sure to put them in a pinned comment. Here is how the palette looks like, and this is the first time that Viseart has special print on their actual palette design. Before, let's say if we were just to look at the warm edit palette, it usually just comes all in one color. It's the same soft matte finish, but the Spritz Edit is where you see like the little bubblies that clearly indicate this was inspired by the drink. And the color is amazing. I feel the actual color of the palette is a clear indication of what's inside. And when you open it, you have a protective plastic sleeve and the actual shadows. But if you look closely, this is a magnetic palette. You can see that there are grooves throughout the frame where you could easily pop out any of these. And let's say you wanted to mix and match, you're able to do so. Excuse my warm palette. One of the shadows busted. You can certainly mix and match between the two. They're all magnetic. If you want to change your warm edit palette to a little bit of Paris, a little bit of Spritz, a little bit of Rosé, you can do it all. But here's another look at the palette. I love this color story. Anytime you involve apricot, corals, golds, yellow, and antique hues, and everything in between, you get me. You get me. There was just no stopping me. First up, we have Ciambella, and that is a sandy taupe with a matte finish. Prosecco, warm Prosecco with a shimmer finish. Tarocco, peach beige with a matte finish. Perhaps one of my most favorite colors in here, brioche, one of my favorite type of breads. Warm brown with a matte finish. Limoncello, antique gold with a shimmer finish. Let me confirm that. Yes, shimmer indeed, but gotta say, this packs a lot of punch for a Viseart shimmer. If you're not too familiar with that formula, Viseart shimmers tend to be a little more low-key than what you might encounter in an indie brand or maybe another mainstream brand. I'm actually impressed with these shimmers. They have a lot of shine and really great coverage, as you will see in the demo. Spritz, sun-kissed candied apricot with a shimmer finish. This, although it's noted to have a shimmer finish, not shimmery like limoncello for instance, but it does have a really nice glow that you will see on the lids when applied all over. Fizz. Golden nude with a metallic finish. Really beautiful brightness from that shade. Arancia, I'm assuming. Goldfinch with a shimmer finish. Balmy. Copper with a shimmer finish. Scala. Bronze caramel with a shimmer finish. Granita. Sheer grenadine with a matte finish. And lastly, we have Figura. Figura. Sun ripened raspberry with a matte finish. Here are all the swatches from the Spritz Edit, and again, really enjoy this color story. I think it is very approachable despite the inclusion of the more coral apricot tones in the palette. My favorites are the metallic and shimmer shades. I think they apply so beautifully, as you will see. And I think now in the video, I'll go into the demo. If you want to skip over to the comps, you can, again, because those timestamps will be down below. And with all those details out the way, why don't you come in a little closer? All looks will be prepped with the MAC paint pot in soft ochre. Also wanted to note that the palette has a mirror and it is an easel style palette, so really portable friendly, and it has the material tab here so the magnetic lip can be easily lifted. And here's just a closer look of the Viseart Paris logo along with these spritzy bubbles. Why don't you blend that out a little more, girlfriend? That'll be very helpful. Sonergy Worker 1 with Granita. I'm gonna work that on to the outer corner. I didn't waste any time yesterday. I just plopped these on just like this because I really wanted to see these mattes in action. And you'll see, even though I'm using a not traditional blending brush and we didn't go in with a lighter transition shade, these mattes just move so beautifully across the skin. They're so easy to blend and maneuver, and even just light sweeping and patting down motions can distribute the shadow beautifully so that the edges still look diffused. Now granted, you don't need to take on the same technique I started with, but rest assured, whatever technique you do is going to be fine, you know what I'm saying? I'm just building that coral matte shade and punching it in and around the crease line, and again just turning the brush on its side to feather out the edges. Really beautiful shade. Sonergy Classic Crease with Doroko. I don't know if I'm saying that right, and if I'm not, please forgive me. Now taking that peachy beige shade on the edges so it can create just a more of a diffused look, and that coral to peach transition is quite beautiful. Sonergy Worker 3 with Figura. Anytime I layer a matte on a matte, I'm more inclined to tap it on first, then sweep it on. Because I feel if you sweep it on with a traditional blender brush, you're not going to get full-on color impact. Let me lighten you up a bit. And to ensure you get the saturation you're expecting or would like, I find that tapping on first versus blending right away is very helpful. And I'm just sweeping a little bit of that on the outer lower third. I'm not going all the way yet, just preparing that next step. Taking the edge of that Worker 3 brush and just gently sweeping that more so on the outer lower third. Classic crease with that first coral matte shade just to further blur the edges. Now with Spritz, a unique shade indeed. It's not like a traditional shimmer. I guess it is. I feel it has more of a matte base, but the glow is so pretty. I really enjoy this shade a lot. Isn't that lovely? The reason I'm using all Sonergy brushes is because I recently did a Sonergy edition chat and I put all her brushes together, so I was ready for the chat and I just happened to have the cut with all her brushes in there. So you're gonna get another Sonergy demonstration in this video. Prosecco, my Sonergy soft shader. Just tapping that on the inner part of the lid. I think it goes so well with Spritz. Same brush with Arancia. Lower inner third. I think that deep yellow gold shade with the coral is such a beautiful pairing. I'm sweeping that, I would say maybe half the lower lash line. Judging everything together. Prosecco with my mini definer. Flat definer, excuse me. More on the actual inner corner. And why not a little bit on the brow bone? I never do the brow bone because I always forget. All right, time to move on to eye number 2. Brioche with my Soniji Jumbo Blender. Punching that on this outer corner. I love the tone of this brown. I know it's the typical warm brown. We've all seen it before. I feel there's a peachiness to it that I think makes it unique to me. It's so beautiful, and the way it just blends effortlessly. Really soft texture, but the actual matte shadow packs punch. We'll say if you're a deeper skin tone than me, that is the only disadvantage this palette has, because this is the only brown, and the deepest shade you have is that deep raspberry matte. And this, I feel, might just be like either a transition shade or just like a skin tone shade, or even something lighter on you. But you'll let me know down below. If you happen to have Milieu neutrals too, then you can probably dip into any of the darker mattes in there to create more intensity. What I actually like to do is what I did yesterday, and that's to take the shade Scala. This could add a little more depth. Even though it's not a matte, you could most certainly place it on Brioche just to create a little more depth, but the depth of color is not going to be so drastic that I will rely on this metallic to create intensity. Brioche with my Blender Pro, and further feathering out the edges here. Ciambella. Same brush and just creating a really nice gradient with that shade. Although it's a sandy taupe, I feel it's pretty warm for a taupe, don't you think? Just tapping a little more brioche here on the outer corner. Just sweeping it out. Very nice. Scala with my Worker 3. Brushing it here along the lower lash line. Fizz is amazing. Flat definer, baby, right here. It is such a good shade. Let me use a bigger brush so you can see this more in action. Build a pro to give it to us. There we go. I think it is so beautifully shiny, and I love the tone of this metallic bronze. It almost has like a pink flip to it. Now with Limoncello, the more antique gold. This one is like more yellow gold. Sweeping down the lower inner third. Taking more fizz right on the inner corner of this eye. Sweeping away a little bit of fallout. I definitely overloaded the brush, but it's all good because we don't have any major casualties. Fenty Fly Pencil in Space Cookie. Smudging that out with my smudger too. Alright, let's apply some lashes and I'll be right back. Here's the finished look on both eyes. I'm sorry that it's just so gray out. On the lashes I have Ardell Wispies on. I just wanted to take a look here. The shine and the shift on this shade is, I think, the brightest shade in the palette, but doesn't Spritz have just a really beautiful glow to the shade? And you see here, you can go ultra bright coral, or you can stay a little more neutral with that neutral brown, the brioche, yummy, and the Scala shade, that bronze metallic. And it has really beautiful shine as well. And on the lips, I have a combination. I Need a Nude from Natasha Denona and Noah, topped with the Artist Couture Silk Cream Lipstick in Saucy Gal on the center of the lip, lined with Mented Cosmetics liner in the shade Nude. I thought these two looks were pretty simple to achieve. You see, you have best of both worlds in this palette. You have the bright coral color story, and then you also have the more neutral bronze color story. Again, if you are deeper than me, you probably have to dip out. If you already have neutrals too, I think this is a great supplement to neutrals too. Yeah, because you have the deeper browns in there to create some depth. And just to quickly see, Warm Edit has more yellow and orange and more like reds in here. This dark brown shade definitely has a lot more depth than the one found in Spritz. So if you have Warm, I would think Warm is a nice pairing to the Spritz palette. I also where did I put my Apricotine? I feel like Apricotine has like a neutral brown in there too that might be similar to this one. So this is Apricotine next to Spritz. So this brown reminded me of the brioche brown, but it looks like the brioche brown is a little warmer in tone, and the bronze shade is a little cooler than the one found in Spritz. We could do all these comparisons later. Again, that's why I'm going to give you timestamps because it's long. But that's okay, fam. Let's take this off and do 2 more looks. Definitely going to start out with Limoncello and place that on the majority of the lid because I need to see the shine. Oh, so bright. That is a really great color. Wow. Taking my worker 3, just helping it spread this around a little more. I think that's pretty nice for a Viseart shimmer. I'm impressed with the coverage. It doesn't thin out as you blend it onto the skin, and it has such beautiful shine. Look at that. It's gorgeous. Balmy with the same brush, but now on the inner part of the lid. This was described to be a copper shade. It kind of reminds me of like a taupey type of a moment, don't you think? We compare this with the brown matte, with the coral matte. Let's go in with brioche, see what happens. With my crease too, whip that around the outer part of the lid and bring it through the crease. This is another neutral moment, but now with the more gold on the predominant lid. But I want to take a little bit of the coral with the Blender Pro and just whip that closer to the brow and just mixing that coral and brown matte together. I think that's a really nice combination. Limoncello with my finger and dabbing it just more across the lid so you can predominantly see that shade in action. Granita with my worker 3 lower lash line. Make it real smoky. Tapping brioche on the outer part of that lash line. With Prosecco, with my pencil 1 on the inner lower part of the lash line, but tapping it on the inner corner as well and whipping it up towards the crease a little bit too. All right, that eye's done pretty fast. I'm gonna take the deepest raspberry shade and just start tapping that on the outer corner. Now with Toroko, my crease 2 and just feathering out those edges. And actually I'm taking some of, what is this called? Figura with the same brush and bringing it a little bit higher, pulling it out as well. Toroko again with my Blender Pro, just making a little more diffused here. Tap it, tap, tap. That's a nice shade. Very nice shade. I think I want to go in with Balmy and put down the majority of the lid. That's a nice combination. Ooh. I also want to take Fizz on the majority of the inner third. I want something here as a transition. What can we use? Maybe this yellow here, the Arancia. I don't know how well it will show up, but I feel like I need another transition from the raspberry matte into that copper metallic. That's fun, I'll take it. It's not as pronounced as I was expecting. It's very subtle, but it works. I'll take it. Classic crease with that raspberry matte shade and just pulling it in closer to the inner part of my eye. Got that bronze metallic on this lower lash line. Tapping that matte here on the outer part of the lid. Minibusta just smoothing everything out. Ooh, let's do this shade on the inner corner. Or more so, I guess, the lower part of the lash line. I think pairing this with Scala is just such a nice combination. I'm actually going to bring it up in towards the corner as well. Putting down more Fizz. All right, let's put on some lashes and I'll be right back. And here's a close-up of both eyes. I have the same Ardell wispy style lashes on, and I'm happy we went predominantly in with this raspberry matte because it does have a little more depth when you apply it on its own eye feel, and a deeper skin tone. I think you get a really nice red smoky eye from this shade. And how we paired it with the coral and the bronze, it's just a really nice combination. And this Fizz shade, I love. A little more neutral on this side, maybe not as neutral as the first brown look we did in round 1, but I love how we compared the neutral brown matte and the coral matte together. It kind of gave an overall peachy look that I feel is still daily friendly. And the gold, look at this freaking gold. It is amazing. On the lips, I have the Artist Couture Silk Cream Lipstick in Saucy Gal, lined with Pat McGrath Labs Permagel Lip Liner in Contour. What can I say, fam? I love this palette. I applied all the shadows. Now, I understand I didn't predominantly apply these two taupe and peach beige shades, but the shades I feel that we were looking forward to really came through. And no matter how you combine these, you will have a beautiful look. And I think the color story lives here, is very much appropriate with spritz themed, and the tones are gorgeous, and namely the shimmers in here are outstanding. I know sometimes people don't usually go to Viseart for the metallics or the shimmers because we get spoiled with like the high shine dazzling effects either from Cliona or from Pat McGrath or even from Natasha Denona, from Luxie, from Sydney Grace. There is something so sophisticated here with the Viseart shimmer and metallic formula that I feel came through a little more with spritz. I could be wrong. I'm not maybe as well versed as one who has been trying Viseart shadows forever. I think they upped it a little bit in this palette. It could be me, but this shade here, I still can't get over how beautifully shiny it is. But the consistency, it's still thin, yes, absolutely, but the shine is amazing. I love it so much. And the antique shade, these shades here, like, come on. And of course the mattes are just sublimely gorgeous. They practically blend themselves, as you see. Like, I never stress when I'm dealing with a Viseart matte because I know my blend is going to be impeccable. It's just, that's how it is. Now with our looks done, my thoughts pretty much confirmed. Let's get into these comparisons. First up is the warm edit. Now off the bat, maybe we could compare the two bronze shades, the golds. Okay, gotcha. Here's the bronze shade from Spritz and the bronze from Warm. Warm has a little more golden to it, whereas the Spritz has a little more like copper to it. Here's the antique tone gold from Spritz and a similarly toned gold from Warm. Dare I say the one from Spritz has a little more shine there. Oh, now the sun just wants to come out full blast. You know what? It's fine. It's fine. Oh, hello there. Neutral brown from Spritz. The neutral brown from Warm. Feel like Spritz has a little more peach to it. Champagne shimmer from Spritz and a similarly toned champagne from Warm. It looks like this is a little more icy from the Warm palette and a little more low-key from Spritz. And here is like the standout different shade from the Warm Edit palette, although it kind of looks like that was a shimmer I swatched, by the way. This is the Raspberry Matte from Spritz. So this has a little more pink, that has a little more red. And that's basically it. Again, I feel Warm is predominantly red, orange, magenta, a little more gold in tone overall, and I feel you got a little more peach apricot that exists in Spritz. Here is Rosé Edit compared to Spritz. I would say Rosé is like more pink purple all around, whereas Spritz, as you see, is more coral peach all around. There's like not a gold type of a shade in Rosé, but if you wanted to quickly see, and just so we can make this a little faster, the first swatch you will see will always be from the Spritz palette. Here is the neutral brown from Rosé, a lot taupier in tone. The champagne tone from Rosé. Oh, that's a totally different color than I suspected. Hold on. Let's now switch Fizz from the Spritz palette. This one is from Rosé. It looks to be a lot warmer. This seems to be more copper in tone from the Rosé palette. This a little icier from the Spritz palette. And here is just like a pink shimmer from Rosé. I think this clearly indicates the overwhelming color theme that exists in the Rosé palette versus with the one found in Spritz. And of course, my favorite, the Dark Edit palette. This is like all gem tone, very earthy, very rich in color. I don't even know if we should bother, but we will because I know someone's like, you didn't do the swatches. So here is the yellow shimmer in Spritz compared to the true yellow gold in Dark Edit. And here is the coppery tone shade that exists in dark. This is from Spritz. The lightest brown matte in the Dark Edit palette compared to the one in Spritz. Yeah, fam, that's about it for me. I think Dark Edit is drastically different. Could be fun to pair with the Spritz palette, I would think. I mean, the raspberry coral shades in here with like the magenta metallic. You can have a lot of fun with that combination, I feel, if you want to get the Spritz Edit and you already happen to have Dark Edit. And of course, Paris Edit with Spritz. Paris Edit is just softer, rosy, romantic type of a theme. Spritz has a little more like a summertime feel to it overall. To me, they are drastically different. So here's Balmy from Spritz, and here is like a similar looking one from Paris. But you see how much more pink there is in that metallic from the Paris edit? Absolutely. And here's another similar tone metallic from Paris edit again. You got a little more mauve there. If I were to quickly swatch something from Spritz, I think you're going to see something more icy. Yeah, so these are predominantly more mauvey pink compared to the ones that exist in Spritz. Even this neutral brown, you can clearly see, is not going to be the same as the tones that exist in Spritz. A lot warmer. Even the beige shades in here have a little more warmth, more so than the ones that exist in the Paris edit. Apricotine, however, this is the Petite Pro. We're looking at 8 shades instead of 12. Same type of magnetic easel design for the palette, but a lot more compact. I mean, it takes on the size of a business card. There are some similarities here, I feel, more so than the other edit palettes, besides warm, of course. Here's the neutral brown from Apricotine. That's like actually just taupier in tone. You can't really see it, but I swatched this shade here, this more beigey matte from Spritz, because I want to pair it to the one next to the Apricotine beige, which I think is a little more peachy than. Let me see here. Let me put down the exposure. Maybe not. Maybe the one from Apricotine is a little more beigey. Bronze from Spritz and the bronzy shade from Apricotine. Looks like the one from Apricotine has a little more coolness to it than the one found in Spritz. Here's Fizz from Spritz, and here is a similar looking shade from Apricotine. Looks like the one from Apricotine is a little more icy. Would I go so far to say the Apricotine will give you something similar? Well, maybe if perhaps we check out this shade here. It's like a peachy shimmer shade. I'm running out of space. I feel this one maybe, you know what, let me do that again. I'm gonna do it on this arm. So we have like a peachy tone coral here, and I'll proceed to now go in with Spritz. Oh, that definitely has a lot more coral to it. This, I feel, is soft, peachy, light apricot versus this Spritz is like in your face summertime apricot. A lot more depth in there, I feel. If we were to compare the mattes from Spritz to other mattes in existing Viseart palettes, let's see. I think maybe this matte from Neutrals 2 will have a similar tone. Oh, that's a little more taupier. How about this guy here? What do we got? Oh, that looks like a lot more orange. I'm giving this another swatch so we could better see. There we go. Thank you so much. Did we do it? We did this shade. Let's do this shade. Oh, that's like a leathery type of brown. That makes this brown from Spritz look orange. Let's see. Grand Pro 1 comparisons. I'm looking at this one. Maybe this one. Let's see here. Let's take a look at that matte. Oh, that's a little cool tone compared to Spritz. Let's take a look at this more beigey matte. Just lighter in color, but beautiful. You have warm mattes. Let's see. I feel the one here. How does that look? Oh, that's a lot. It's similar, but this has a little more red in it. Take a look at that one here. A little taupey, a little cooler. 04 Dark Matte. I feel like the only one here remotely could be this one. And that's a lot cooler than the one found in Spritz. I mean, we could probably try this one here. See what we got. Oh, that's orange. How about this sucker here? That's going to be yellow toned. Oh, just as I suspected. Now the raspberry matte from Spritz. Milieu 2. Let's see what we got. This might look something similar. Oh, that has a lot more red. You can see there's a lot more raspberry, and this is like more of a cherry red. Warm mattes, I think it's going to be a little more magenta leaning. Or not. Maybe that's just more brick, and it looks more magenta in the pan. Dark matte, this I feel is going to be distinctly more like brown leaning, yes, as I suspected. And this one is going to be more plum leaning, or just plum brown. Next to raspberry. Raspberry looks straight up red next to these two. Back in Grand Pro Volume 3. How about this one? What do we got here? Oh, I think we did that one already. Yeah, on the first round. That's more orange. Or this one. I think this one would probably be a close match. Yeah, I think this one has a little more depth of color. It's almost like pink, whereas this one is more red. The light changes today. Let's kick it off with the bronze shade from Spritz. Oh, what do we have here? Grand Pro 2. I was thinking this shade and this shade. So the predominant difference is that the Grand 2 shade has the glitter in there. I don't know if you can see that, but you got bigger glitter pieces that exist in this shade. And then I thought about this bronzy shade, which is more a traditional metallic finish and is a lot more cool toned than what you find in Spritz. Here's like a coral metallic from Pro 3, and here is the coral from Spritz. You got a lot more depth of color there. It's just a lighter, I feel, color altogether, but those two combined would be gorgeous. I think that's where I'm going to stop because I'll be here all day. But if there is a specific shade that you want to see with a Spritz shade, I'll put it on the community board. I think we got the big comparisons in this video. Ultimately, friends, if you decide to buy this palette, you will not be disappointed with the quality. If you have other Viseart palettes and you're deeper skin tone than me, then I would think it's a great opportunity for you to pair it with the other ones, like, let's say, Neutrals 2. I think this is such a beautiful supplement to Spritz. Yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong. Even with the blue in there, you could use the blue for something else, but you could get a lot more richness from that dark brown shade. But I really love the red, or the raspberry matte, I should say, in this palette. I really think it has nice depth of color. And the shimmers and metallics in here, I'm very impressed by. Very impressed by. I love all the looks that I did. I feel it's very easy to use, very foolproof to use. Take advantage of the coral shades in here. I know some of you might just want to stick with this one and that one and then call it a day, where you have 10 other shades to use. Use this all over the lid, or maybe at least go with the brighter golds on the lid and just experiment with putting all these shades together, because again, these were specially curated for a reason. So when you have this palette, you can do many a combination and the look be beautiful. And I just love how the shadows layer. I had a fine, easy time blending these. And yes, I know I'm using my Sonia G brushes. I would think that you will still have a fairly seamless time with other brushes that you might own. I don't know, let me know. But yes, I am very satisfied with my purchase. I'm so happy that I bought it. Do I need it? Absolutely not. Do you need this? Absolutely not. If you love to, however, collect the edit palettes from Viseart, I think you will love this one in addition to the ones that you already own. I definitely will keep using this palette, and I think it's so summertime appropriate. I know our whole 2020 has been sabotaged. However, if we do find the opportunity to eventually venture out and kind of return to normal life where we can wear makeup outside of our homes, I think you'd be very happy with this color story. Very summertime appropriate. The tones are gorgeous. It aligns with that theme, with that mood, with that vibe. Let me know if you grab Spritz, if you're thinking about it, what other comparisons potentially I have missed that you would like to see. And until then, friends, that is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And until then, I'll see you on here again with another review, tutorial, get ready with me, or nightly live chit chats. Take care, and I'll see you again soon.